The Influencer's Edge is brought to you by the Invisible Influence Series. If you're ready to massively increase your sales by leveraging the power of subconscious persuasion, then make sure you text the word COMPEL to 411321. That's COMPEL to 411321. And if you're outside of the United States, then use WhatsApp and text the word COMPEL to 1-909-741-1321. Make sure you put in your best email address because that's how we'll deliver the goodies. Welcome to the Influencer's Edge. This is the place where you come to get the latest breakthroughs, cutting-edge insights, tools, and techniques to leapfrog over the pack in sales, persuasion, and influence. Be sure you visit our website at www.theinfluencersedge.com. And while you're there, subscribe to us via your favorite network. Now sit back, tune in, and enjoy today's episode. All righty, ready. Welcome back to the Influencer's Edge show. We have an amazing guest, as we always do our very best to do. We have the fantastic, amazing Monica Miller. Hello, Monica. Say hi to everybody watching. Monica, where are you located? Where are we speaking?
I am speaking from Fort Wayne, Indiana.
Fort Wayne, Indiana. Never been there, but maybe I'll go. All right, I'm going to read your bio because I don't memorize bios, but Monica Miller is a 3-time published author. Wow. If we have time, I'd like to dive into that. 3 times. What are the names? Do you mind giving out the names of your books?
Yeah. The Cave Nemesis was my first book. That's a fiction suspense novel. Ooh. I have How to Write Your Book in 90 Days or Less, and then a devotional book for Christian writers.
Oh, that's fantastico. You're an international speaker and writer, and you own your own business. Monica writes where she helps female and mom entrepreneurs. Oh, I like that. That's your niche. I love it. Get to 6 figures in their business by the power of content and marketing strategies. She's helped her clients get fully booked out, working with more clients, landing paid speaking engagements nationally and internationally, and a way to consistently get new leads when they need more clients. She teaches her clients how to leverage content and simple marketing activities by getting more visible to grow their audience, clientele, and scaling their business. Fantastic. All right, so let's talk about content plans. And part of that, inside of the word content plan, is the word plan. So how do you deal with clients like me who are highly creative, but are not particularly good at planning? How do you help people like that there's some people who plan their day. I can't stand doing that. How do you help clients who are not necessarily good at planning to sit down and actually have the discipline and the motivation to do that?
Yeah, so really for me, what a content plan really means for me, this is how I define it, is once you know exactly what you're marketing, then you know how to plan your content around that. So if you have a flash sale, or if you want to enroll more clients into a particular program, then you want to plan out your content where it reflects what you're promoting, because we know that content, we need to be doing it more than just once. We need to be talking about our offers more than just once. We need to be talking about them a lot, especially during a certain time frame. And I find having a content plan helps me and my clients have that plan in place, so that way we're not bogged down with, what should I write today? I don't know what to say. We know exactly what to say because we have created a plan for it. And this is where I help my clients really get into the nitty-gritty of what they are offering, and then how to pull content and stories from that so they can share it with their audience.
So if I could put this a different way, I guess what you're really doing is pointing out to people, the more you plan, the more clarity of thought you have and the more freedom you wind up getting.
Yes, yeah, because it takes out content does take energy. I mean, it does. Let's just be real. So how do we maximize our time? And it's by, once you know exactly what you're going to say, it takes out all the stress, all the what should I talk about today? And that way you're more focused on doing the things you love doing versus the things, like writing content all the time.
So in order to do this, you have to get a pretty good idea of what the client's basic message is going to be. What is it to the client that's important to talk about? Do you find that some clients come to you and they're not particularly clear? Because again, this show is devoted towards influence, persuasion, and sales. I think getting clear on what it is you really want to say is a big challenge. So what's your process when a client comes to you? Let's say they watch this program, they go through your cheat sheet, which you're going to give people an opportunity to get at the end of the show. They think, I want to talk to Monica, maybe I'll hire her. Let's say they take you on as, do you like to be called a trainer, a coach? What is your preferred title?
Business coach.
A business coach. They say, I want to take Monica on. What is your process for fleshing out with them what their main message is? And my coach once said, keep it to like 3 things. Don't explode too much in people's heads. So what is your process for helping clients uncover what it is they truly have to say? I know these are not in the questions that people submit, but these are the questions that really appeal to me.
Yeah, perfect. So when someone comes to me and they're like, Monica, I want to, they come to me and they're like, I don't know what to say. This is how a lot of my clients come to me. I don't know what to say. I want to begin posting to get clients to build my business, but I don't know what to say. We go back to why they started their business and really get clear on what it is that they are passionate about. For me, like, for example, if I use myself as an example, my 3 things I love helping you develop your offers, your content, and your marketing strategies to go with it. That's my 3, and that's what I talk about more on inside of my, on my Facebook or my newsletter, on podcasts like this. So I will, once I begin to understand why they started the business and why they really want to help people, that's whenever I begin to see, like you were saying, those top couple of things that they really want to talk about. And from there, that's whenever I start digging into, okay, well, what is your package? What does your package want you to have? What do you want to offer? And if they're unclear on their package, as a business coach, I will help them with that piece, because once they're clear on their offer, we can now begin to create content from that offer so that people get a clear understanding of what this offer is going to do with, do for them and their businesses and their
So
life.
yes, it's good. So it's very strategic. It's not people think, I feel like writing about this today, and it doesn't relate to their main message. So let me get this straight. They have to figure out what their why. Their why leads them into creating their content. The content is structured in a way that builds a relationship and trust. And then once you get to a certain point, well, you have to know what the offer is, and then you can make the offer. So people are thinking, well, this is all very well and good. I don't want to give away. I'm trying to put this. There's some people who are very impact driven and service minded, and they just want to fire hose people and give everything away. And just, do you understand where I'm driving here? Where they want to give everything that they have. So what do you do with those people? I'm assuming a lot of those people have that psychology when they come to you, because I know just from what shines from you, and I know people, I've been dealing with people a long time, that you yourself are very service minded and very impact driven. So I know you work with, what is the word? Mompreneurs? How do you say it?
You can call them mompreneurs, mom business owners, all that kind of works.
Okay. So how do you help them to structure their content in a way where they're giving enough to get people engaging with the content. And I'm going to put a pin in that and a question I have, but not so much that people feel, well, that's nice, I don't need any more. Bye.
So here's what I say. Yes, there is a boundary on how much you give, but there's also where we have to be realistic and say, you know what, half, if not, actually probably not even half, it's probably more like 3/4 of the people who read your content or watch your videos or are following you are not going to do anything that you say, even if you give them the gold to their freedom or the keys to their freedom, or give them, all the money making ideas, right? You could do that, but not everyone, like 3/4 of them, are not even going to implement it. And it's
Why do
because
you
they need
suppose that?
accountability.
I want to hear your answer, but let me, again, I can be an interruptive host, but you're giving me so much gold here. I want to chip in and get more of the ore out of the rock. Why do you suppose, I've heard not 3/4, but like 90% won't do anything with it. Why do you suppose that is, that 3/4 of the people just won't do anything, won't take action?
Because people need accountability. If I know, for me, if I don't have accountability to help me get through it or help me to start it or help me to actually implement it, I may not do it. And what I found with my clients is they need someone, like my clients may get started implementing, but then they get stuck because the little voice in their head tells them you can't do this, or who are you, and just starts talking to them, and they don't know how to shut that voice down
How do you
or
do
just
that?
quiet it.
I want to know. My voice is not, you can't do this, but you shouldn't have to do this. You're a genius. Why bother? How do you, this is so good, because so much of what salespeople have to do and professional influencers, they've got to get that mindset. And I think you have to get the negative out of the way if you want the positive to work. So do you teach any specific techniques to your clients to do that?
Yeah, and this is something that it's a practice, and it's just simply breathing. Just like, because once we focus on our breath, the voices in the head, our heads kind of dim a little bit. Not to say they're going to come back, but they do dim. And for me, one of the things that I do is when my clients come to me, like for example, right before I got on this call, one of my clients told me what was going on inside of her head. So I just asked a question like, well, is that true? Is that true? I mean, is it more than likely it is not true? Because our voices in our head like to say, you're not good enough, you're not this, you're not that. But yet, if we look in our past, we can see, oh yeah, I am good enough. Look, I've done this, I've done that, and I'm a badass in this area. Like we get to start seeing like that voice is just really full of crap. But it takes discipline, it takes captivating that thought, and then we spin in it. And then sometimes it may mean take a break, like pull back.
Did you just say, I tell my guests folks before they come on the show that this is a different kind of show. If they give me something juicy, I'll notice it and I'll go, wait. You just dropped the mic, you just gave a mic drop. We need to go back and have you pick it up. Did you say captivating that voice or capturing that? Is that the word you used?
Captivate the thought.
Captivate it. In other words, what do you mean when you say captivate?
Like, think of it as like grabbing it and being like, no, you're not going, thank you for sharing, and I'm going to do this anyways. I'm going to be in action. So just like being aware of it and then just kind of like shutting it down and just because we're in a battle with ourselves, really. And it's, if we're not behind it, then how can we go out and speak?
That makes sense to me. So you're acknowledging it. You're aware of it. So if I would give a formula to what you say, I don't want to put words in your mouth. You say you become aware of it. You acknowledge it by saying thank you. You interrupt it by breathing, and then you move on to something positive. Is that your formula?
Yeah, I mean, that's part of it. And sometimes, I just found out like my human design is a projectile. So as a projectile, I do like to talk things out. And sometimes it's me pulling back and calling a peel who I share a lot, that we know our lives. And I tell her some things, and then I'm like, oh yeah. And then it's just like once I start talking it out, I'm like, oh yeah, I am a rocking person, like why am I listening to this voice?
Badass rocket fuel. I love that.
That's right.
I want to talk about, we can go into some of the pre-submitted questions. I'll do that if you choose to. Are you finding my questions engaging? Obviously, they
Yeah,
are. Not.
go ahead.
All right. So I hear so much about content. Content is king. Content is king. And then one of my teachers came along. He said, that's bullshit. It's content that engages that's king. So what are the strategies for people to create content? And this is important for all of you who sell online. And if you're doing anything online, you're selling, trust me. If you're not selling or setting someone up to know, like, and trust you for the sale later on, then you're not paying attention to your job. So how do we create, what are some tips? Like if you could give 3 tips for people out there on how to create content that engages. Can you give us that? And does it vary between platforms? For example, is the content that would go on LinkedIn that would engage different than the kind of content that would go on a Facebook post or an Instagram or
Yeah,
YouTube?
so I primarily focus on Facebook and Instagram. And some things could work on LinkedIn. I would say give it a shot, see what happens. So the first one is stories. People want to be related to you. You need to be relatable to your audience. So sharing stories, that could be lessons. It could be mistakes you learn. Maybe it's like, I wish I would have known, or just even giving just pieces of you. Let them know that you get it. You've been in the weeds before. Like, I don't like working with people who I feel like they're just too far like mystical that I can't relate to them. So people
Right.
want to know you. So stories is number 1. And number 2 is educate. Make it fun too. Make your education fun. Make it really juicy, meaning make it fun, make it you. Or maybe start with a joke, or maybe start with something a little like controversial, or something that
Controversial. I should stand up and show you my t-shirt. It says defund the media.
Yeah, I mean, that could be like a good hook, right? So educate, because then, you're not only related to them through your story, but you're also educating them, through a different post. So you're showing them why they should hire you. And then for me, I find another way is asking questions, because people love to respond to questions. And you have to get a little creative sometimes with questions. But what if you drop some questions about, for me today in my story, my Facebook story, I asked, do you struggle with pricing your offers? And yes, that leads back to a program I am releasing. And I've gotten people responded to that. So I would say, stories, educate, and questions are my top 3 that I would say to begin giving out. And I would also say, education, that could be client stories. You can use a past client as an example of how you worked with someone and give education at the same time.
It's not a case study, it's a story study in a sense.
It can be.
Wow.
Or you get to talk about how, if you're talking about a certain subject, say like pricing your offers, and then you could talk about, hey, this is how you price your offers, and this is what I did, this exact same formula I did with my client, and we did this, and after that she went out and did XYZ. So that is something that you could weave a little bit of story into, so that way you're showing, I have clients, I have authority, and my method works.
Say those 3 again.
Story, education, and questions.
You said something else. You said, I know my method works. You said there were 3 things you said, blah, 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 not blah, 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 excuse me. I haven't this morning. I'm so sorry. You said one of the things Well, I'll put it this way. One of the things I learned from one of my coaches is when you make an offer, it has to be simple enough. She said, listen, Paul, if your offer isn't so simple and easy to understand that my 4.5-year-old daughter, Madison, can't understand it, then you need to go back to the drawing board and make the offer more simple. But you have to answer these questions. Does it work? Will it work for me? And how soon can I expect to get results? So how do you, when you're answering that question, will it work for me? How do you go about answering that question when you make your offer? And we want to get back to content, because primarily we want to talk about structuring your content, getting out on different platforms, and et cetera, et cetera. When you're telling a story or having a client tell a story, how do you answer that question? Will it work for me? Are they just going to make the inference, well, work for someone like this person is like me, and therefore it'll work for me? Do you understand my question? Am I just rambling because I need more?
I believe so. Like, are you asking, like if somebody was reading the post and they're
Yes.
asking, will this
Yes.
work for me?
Yes.
How would somebody answer that? Yeah, that's a great question. And my answer to that is it will work for you if you work it, because you are the ultimate person that is going to make it happen. No one else will. I can give you all the tools and support you need, but if you don't take action, it's not going to work. So it will only work if you work it, and if you believe that you can go forward and make that happen.
She's just saying, my camera is blurring. I don't know what that's. There we go. I'm so handsome that I can't take it.
Who knew about that camera?
We'll see its confidence, even though it's. One of my mentors once said, if you're going to have a delusion, you may as well have one that supports you.
That's right.
All right. So one of my resistances towards putting out content is I don't mind being on LinkedIn and writing articles and doing short videos there. But Instagram, what do you say to your clients who say Instagram is for people who are really young and posting how good they look in their bikinis or their muscle shirts, or it's for people who share videos? There's one called, I'm going to give them a little plug, the Husky Moon, where it's a husky, and I swear the husky really sounds like it's talking. I love mommy. It's amazing. Everyone subscribe to the Husky Moon. How do you get people who just are camera shy? Obviously, I'm not camera shy. Who say to you, Monica, I don't like the way I look on camera. I don't mind doing an article, but Instagram, first of all, it's for young people. I'm not going to do it. I'm too old. I don't look good on camera, and I hate the camera. Does that ever come up with the clients you help?
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. So my biggest philosophy is you want to be on places that light you up. If it doesn't light you up, don't be on it. If Instagram is one of those platforms where you just don't want to be on, just don't be on it. It's okay. Sorry, Paul, I am not a LinkedIn person. LinkedIn sounds boring to me. I don't want to be on there. It does not inspire me.
That's fine.
So so that's why I like Facebook and Instagram. And if they're all like, well, I would like to try it, then I would say, go out and find similar people, business women or businessmen out there who are posting, because that's going to be your inspiration. And if you are like, I don't want to be on camera, then that's beautiful, because you never have to show your face if you don't want to. You just have to make sure that your brand, just make sure you have more branding things, and you don't have to show your face. You can do, there's so many free videos, royalty free videos out there that you can download and then make a reel out of, or put it as a story, or go outside. Now that everything's blooming and it's gorgeous out there, you can go outside and take pictures of flowers. Or for me, like yesterday, I was outside videoing some pretty trees in my yard, and the birds in the background were all tweeting, and I posted that as part of my story. Like, my face was never on there. I just posted it as part of my story. So if you're not going to show your face, let's make sure that you have some type of brand. Like, if you really like a particular type of flower, then have that somewhere inside of your photos. if you're posting on Instagram or making a reel or making a video story or whatever. You just want people to understand, oh yeah, this is so-and-so that is behind the camera.
That's
Because the value is really the thing you want to aim for, not so much your face. It's just the value that you deliver.
interesting. I don't understand people have the problem. I should be camera shy with this face, but I'm not.
And that's amazing. I'm so glad you're not.
So how do people know if their content plan is actually working? What are the metrics that they should look for?
Yeah. So obviously we want to be looking at, are people engaging? Are they engaging with your content? Are they liking and loving their content, right? Of course, that's the big one. And if you have a link to your service or to your calendar or whatever, you want to make sure that you keep track of that. Has your link, being clicked on? Maybe nobody has, say they haven't made an appointment, but how many times have they, how many times have that link been clicked? So you want to keep track of that. That's the number one way that I always recommend, especially on social media. You want to begin understanding, and you also want to understand, okay, so social media is easier because you can see who likes, loves, and comments. That's always a dead giveaway. But even if a post doesn't get anything, it doesn't mean it has fallen flat. There are people who have told me they have read posts from me, never liked, never loved, never commented, and yet still told me, oh yeah, I really found a lot of value in that post. So don't forget that just because it looks like it's falling flat doesn't mean people are not reading it.
Ah, cool. We're at the end of our time. Is there anything else that you think would be important for people to know? Any other little tips or tricks or secrets or even beyond that, basic knowledge?
I would say, if you are struggling with creating content on a regular and consistent basis, and you are wanting to drive more traffic to your offers, to your business, and you just don't know how, then I would say start with a content plan. Just, even if it's just writing out what you're going to talk about on each day that you're going to be working, and then just see how that goes. And don't feel, and also if something is, inspiring comes to you, do that in the moment. Just because you plan content doesn't mean you can't give out your inspiration or your inspired content at the same time. And if you feel like, well, it's not doing a lot, like I don't know what's going on, then I would love to invite you to have a chat with me, because during our chat, we will actually figure out what's going on. Is it your message? Is it maybe not a clear call to action? What is it that we can look at your profile or your content and see where the gap is, and how can we help, or how can I help you fix it?
Wow, I'm tempted to have a consult with you myself.
Yeah, I would love that.
So how do people get in touch with you to do that? What's the best way or ways, and what should they do?
Yeah, so you can always go to bit.ly/Monica Writes to schedule that call with me. So bit.ly/Monica Writes is a free call where we can look at your content and really see what's going on. So that's one way. You can always be my Facebook friend, and I am Monica Lynn. I will give that to Paul, so he will put that in the show notes. You can always be my friend, because that's where I promote and show you more of my story and some education on how you can grow a sustainable business that works for you. And you can also download my free gift, which is get 10 new clients from your social media posts. And Paul will have that in the description below as well.
Well, but you say follow you on Facebook or friend you on Facebook, but no one wants to be my friend, Monica.
Oh, Paul, we need to talk then. We need to get you more friends.
I'm joking. All right. Thank you very much for being a fantabulous, I make that word up. That's a combination of fantastic and fabulous guest on the Influencers Edge show. And Monica Miller, thank you from the heart. I sense that you the beautiful thing about you is you combine a brilliant mind with a very open and loving heart. That is, but I got to ask you one more question. As a coach, do you ever do a little butt kicking? Because it seems to me your biggest challenge would be butt kicking. I can't see you doing that ever. Am I right about that?
I have asked my clients a few questions and they are like, oh, Monica, why you ask me that? And I'm like, well, do you want this or not? So yeah, I do it in love, but I do it. I just do it in love.
Thank you. Perfect. All right. Thanks for being on the show. We'll make sure to post everything in the show notes. Thank you again, Monica Miller.
Thank you, Paul.
The Influencer's Edge is brought to you by the Invisible Influence Series. If you're ready to massively increase your sales by leveraging the power of subconscious persuasion, then make sure you text the word COMPEL to 411321. That's COMPEL to 411321. And if you're outside of the United States, then use WhatsApp and text the word COMPEL to 1-909-741-1321. Make sure you put in your best email address because that's how we'll deliver the goodies. Thank you for tuning in to the Influencer's Edge, where you get the latest breakthroughs, cutting-edge insights, tools, and techniques so you can leapfrog over the pack in sales, influence, and persuasion. Remember to visit our website at www.theinfluencersedge.com to enjoy even more great episodes like this one. We look forward to seeing you again on the Influencer's Edge Show.